Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sarah binti Maruf. Today I will present about directional coupler. What is directional coupler? Directional coupler is a device that sample of small amount microwave power for measurement purpose. The power measurements include incident power, reflected power, and VSWR values. Directional coupler is a four-part waveguide junction consisting of a primary waveguide and secondary auxiliary waveguide. Directional coupler is used to couple the microwave power, which may be unidirectional and bidirectional. Figure 1 show example of directional coupler. Port 1, port 2, port 3 and port 4 and primary waveguide and secondary waveguide. Properties of directional coupler. All the terminations are matched to the ports. When the power travels from port 1 to port 2, some portion of it gets coupled to port 4 but not to port 3. As it is also a bidirectional coupler, when the power travels from port 2 to port 1, some portion of it gets coupled to port 3 but not to port 4. If the power is incident through port 3, a portion of it is coupled to port 2 but not to port 1. If the power is incident through port 4, a portion of it is coupled to port 1 but not to port 2. Port 1 and port 3 decouple as a port 2 and port 4. Next, figure 2 shows the power flow in a directional coupler, where is Pi incident power at port 1, PR receive power at port 2, PF forward couple power at port 2, and PB back power at port 3. Next, coupling factor C. The coupling factor of a directional coupler is the ratio of incident power to the forward power, and coupling factor measured in dB. So the formula is C equal to 10 log 10 Pi divide Pf dB. Directivity D. The directivity of a directional coupler is the ratio of forward power to the back power, measured in dB. D equal to 10 log 10 Pf divide Pb dB. Isolation. It defines the directive properties of a directional coupler. It is the ratio of incident power to the back power, and isolation measured in dB. Isolation in dB equal coupling factor plus directivity. So the formula is I equal 10 log 10 Pi divide Pb dB. Two-hole directional coupler. This is directional coupler with the same main and auxiliary waveguide but with two small holes that are common between them. These holes are lambda g divided 4 distance apart, where lambda g is the guide wavelength. A two-hole directional coupler is designed to meet the ideal requirement of directional coupler, which is to avoid back power. Some of the power while traveling between port 1 and port 2 escape through the hole 1 and hole 2. Right. Waveguide joints. As a waveguide system cannot be built in a single piece always. Sometimes it is necessary to join different waveguides. This joining must be careful done to prevent problems such as reflection effect, creation of standing wave, and increasing the attenuation. The waveguide joints, besides avoiding irregularities, should also take care of E and H field pattern by not affecting them. That's all. Thank you.
Hai, Assalamualaikum. Nama saya Nafazla binti Mafauzi. Hari ini saya akan bentangkan tentang P modulation. Apa itu pin modulation? Pin modulation ialah modulator offer an ideal waveform amplitude and pulse modulation of microwave signal through with range of frequency. This modulation utilizes pin diode which are mounted across the waveguide length RF insulate and to external PNC connector. Okay, next, the physical structure of the component. The modulator pins accept a low frequency baseband signal that moderates the output of example generator, typical or amplitude, frequency and phase. The microwave signal is an amplitude modulate using the pin modulator when limited to a modulation frequency. Detect can be carried out in very narrow bandwidth. The pin modulator can be used in the linear characteristic range as analog amplitude modulator and switching mode for a digital modulation. This is image pin modulation. You can see this picture can use in microwave. Sekian, terima kasih.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Saya Azam dari DEP5A akan terangkan mengenai frekuensi meter. Okey, function untuk frekuensi meter ialah untuk measure to measure the microwave in the frequency in the system. Okay, microwave frequency is measured by using the cativity wave meter. Okay, the structure of cativity wave meter. A wave meter structure is a cylinder with a resonance cavity. It has a plug which directly connected to micrometer. Okay, kita akan terangkan mengenai operation. Okay, operation untuk frekuensi meter, cativity meter ialah the volume of resonant cavity is controlled by plugger. The rotation of screw micrometer will adjust the depth of the plugger inside the cavity. Okay, seterusnya the adjustment of plugger will adjust the volume of resonance cavity. Hence, the frequency of resonance is also varied. Okay, when the resonance frequency is same as the frequency of microwave, the propagates along the waveguide. A large amount of microwave signal will be absorbed by the cavity. Okey, sekian. Terima kasih.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Mazatul Fatihah binti Muhammad Zawaki, 15 DEP 18F1029. Hari ini saya akan bentangkan satu topik yang bertajuk isolator. Slide yang saya telah buat, saya akan paparkan di sini. Ini adalah antara gambar-gambar isolator yang saya dapati. Ada 3 gambar-gambar isolator, contoh-contoh gambar isolator. Okey, apa itu isolator? Okey, isolator ni adalah device yang used for isolating a circuit for equipment from a source of power. Isolator ni juga dia adalah mechanical switching device that in the open position allow for isolation of the input and output of a device. Isolator juga adalah ferrite device that can be construct so that it allow microwave energy to pass in one direction but block energy in the other direction. Seterusnya adalah kegunaan isolator yang biasa. Kenapa orang guna isolator? First, it is one type of mechanical switch used to isolate a fraction of the electrical circuit when it is required. Selain itu, isolator switches are used for opening an electrical circuit in the no-load condition. It is not proposed to be opened while current flow through the line. Generally, isolator ni used between the source and rest of the setup to avoid overloading of the source due to reflection power. Okay, type of isolator. Isolator ni ada dua type, iaitu Faraday rotation and resonant isolator. Untuk Faraday rotation, type yang pertama Faraday rotation. Faraday rotation ni dia adalah kind of optical isolator. A device which transmit light in a certain direction while blocking light in the opposite direction. Faraday isolator are based on Faraday rotators and constitute the technology of most important type of optical isolator. Isolator yang kedua iaitu resonant isolator. Okey, resonant isolator ni bentuk resonant isolator ni ialah dalam bentuk rectangular waveguide topology. Okay, the forward magnetic field iaitu solid line circularly polarized in the slab and FMR absorption is induced terrain. The backward field iaitu dash is not circularly polarized and flow normally along the guide. Okay, itu saja pembenaran pada hari ini. Terima kasih.
First of all, my name is Vinod. I'm here for explain horn antenna, which I study in subject called microwave. A horn antenna or a microwave horn is an antenna that consists of flaring metal waveguide shaped like horn to direct radio waves in a beam. Horns are widely used in antennas at UHF and microwave frequencies above 300 MHz. They are used as feed antennas. Feed antennas is called feed horns. For large antenna structure such as parabolic antennas as standard calibration antennas to measure the gain of other antennas and directive antennas such devices as radar guns, automatic door openers, and microwave radio meters. SWR board bandwidth, a simple construction and adjustment. An advantage of horn antennas is that since they have no resonance elements, they can operate over a wide range of frequencies, a wide bandwidth. A usable bandwidth of horn antennas is typically the order of ratio 10/1 and can be up to 2.1, for example, allowing it to operate from 1 to 20 GHz. The input impedance is slowly varying over wide frequency range, allowing low voltage. Standing wave ratio VSWR over the bandwidth. The gain horn antennas ranges up to 25 dBi with 10 to 20 dBi being typical. So that's all. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera saya ucapkan kepada Puan Laila Nama saya Nur Izzati binti Karanwa. Nombor matrik saya 15 DEP5A 1023. Hari ini saya akan membentangkan sebuah tajuk iaitu power meter. Yang pertama ialah saya akan menerangkan tentang definisi power meter. Power meter bermaksud sesebuah alat yang mengukur bekal tenaga yang dihasilkan oleh sesebuah liter elektrik. Yang seterusnya adalah saya akan menjelaskan tentang beberapa jenis power meter yang ada, iaitu pertama sekali adalah electricity meter. Electricity meter ialah sebuah alat yang mengukur elektrik di dalam sesebuah liter elektrik. Yang kedua ialah wattmeter. Wattmeter adalah lebih kurang penggunaannya dengan electricity meter. Yang ketiga ialah microwave meter. Microwave meter ialah sebuah alat yang mengukur electricity di dalam microwave signal. Yang keempat ialah optical power meter. Optical power meter mengukur bekal tenaga bekal elektrik yang dihasilkan di dalam signal optikal. Yang kelima ialah Google power meter. Google power meter ialah sebuah alat yang mengukur berapa banyak electricity yang dipakai di dalam sesebuah rumah. Yang akhir sekali ialah cycling power meter. Cycling power meter mengukur berapa banyak tenaga elektrik yang dihasilkan oleh seseorang penunggang basikal. Terima kasih.
Okey, selamat sejahtera kepada semua. Okey, nama saya Leondra Channel lagi Kadikaran daripada DEP5A. Okey, hari ini saya nak present tentang detector mount. Okay, detector mount are used to detect the low frequency signal with the help of the IN23 detector diode. Okay, next, the detector diode is mounted on the both wall of the waveguide. Okay, next adalah a shorting plugger is used to tune the max power near the detector diode. Okay, seterusnya detector mount ialah high sensitivity, millimeter and sub-millimeter wave detection and full waveguide bandwidth. So yang seterusnya, the tunable detector. Okay, mount detector ialah nama sebenarnya tunable detector. Okay, so the tunable detector is a detector mount which is used to detect the low frequency square wave modulated microwave signals. So yang seterusnya adalah frequency square wave modulated microwave signal to provide a match between the microwave transmission system and the detector mount. A tunable sub is often used. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Natasha Najwa Alia. Nombor matrik saya 15 DEP5A 1027. Hari ini saya akan present tentang komponen yang nama dia SWR meter. Okay, ini slide saya. SWR meter. Okay, ini rupa SWR meter. Okay, SWR meter function. Alat ini digunakan untuk mengukur radio wave ratio. Okay, biasanya SWR meter ni dipasang di pesawat transmitter dan koksil kabel yang menuju ke antena. SWR ini kena jaga elok-elok untuk didapatkan angka serendah 1.1. Okey, apabila SWR meter menunjukkan angka 1.5, dan ke atas, maksudnya antena tu tak sesuai. Okay, kalau transmit terus, kalau kita tetap gunakan SWR meter dalam jangka masa yang lama, pesawat akan menjadi panas, dan apabila pesawat menjadi panas, ia boleh mengalami kerosakan. Okay, type of SWR ni ada dua. Satu directional SWR meter, lagi satu SWR bright circuit. Okay, dia punya application dia biasanya kita gunakan dalam makmal, dalam litar, dalam waveguide, dalam telecommunication, dalam microwave based medical application. Okay, ini macam mana nak guna SWR meter. Biasanya dia akan digunakan di perantaraan antara transmitter and antena. Ia untuk mengukur wave ratio. Okey, itu saja. Terima kasih.
Saya Muhammad Amrul Kini Berazaini. Saya daripada kelas DEP5A. Nombor belakang saya ialah 1033. Dan saya akan menerangkan tentang waveguide T yang saya belajar daripada kelas microwave device pada sekali ini. Okey, microwave T merupakan peranti yang mempunyai 3 port yang boleh membahagi dan menggabungkan kuasa di dalam waveguide system. Okey, waveguide T juga mempunyai 3 waveguide port yang bersambung dan menghasilkan bentuk T, di mana bentuk T itulah menjadi nama pada komponen tersebut. Okey, terdapat 2 jenis untuk waveguide T, iaitu E-plane waveguide T dengan H-plane waveguide T. Okey, daripada pendapat saya, sebenarnya dia mempunyai 3, iaitu satu lagi ialah hybrid T. Okey, saya akan terangkan tentang. Okey, first kali tentang E-plane. Okey, kalau boleh nampak gambar rajah saya kat sini. Okey, E-plane waveguide merupakan equivalent yang membuat penyambungan secara selari, iaitu input merupakan port 1 dan juga keluaran output merupakan port 2 dan 3, iaitu port 1 di mana di atas dan port 2 dan 3 ialah di kiri dan kanan. Dia akan masuk dan keluar. Dia akan masuk sekali, dia akan keluar secara bebasnya. Okey. Yang kedua, seterusnya ialah untuk H-plane. Okey, H-plane dipanggil H-type kerana port 2 dan port 3 membuat penyambungan secara selari. Di mana gambar rajah seperti ini, dia sebelum ni dalam bentuk E-plane dia terbalik, dia macam T terbalik. Okey, macam H-plane pula dia T ke atas, dia terbalikkan, dia opposite. Okey, untuk okey, yang tadi saya cakap tentang hybrid T. Hybrid T ialah gabungan E-plane dengan H-plane. Seperti gambar yang sebelah ni. Maksudnya dia gambar dia ke depan, T ke depan, dan juga ada satu ke atas. Maksudnya dia mempunyai 4 port. Sebab itu saya tak pasti sama ada dia di antara waveguide T atau tak. Okay.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. My name is Fairuz Shihram from DEP5A. So today I would like to explain about the application of slotted line in microwave. Okay, first of all, what is slotted line? Slotted line are used in microwave as a microwave measurement and consists of a movable probe inserted into a slot in a transmission line. So slotted line can measure standing wave, wavelength, and with some calculation or plotting on Smith chart a number of other parameters including reflection coefficient or electrical impedance. A precision variable attenuation is often incorporated in test setup to improve accuracy. This is used to make level measurements while the detector and VSWR meter are retained only to mark a reference point for attenuation to be set to. Okay, thus eliminating entirely the detector and meter measurement errors, the parameter most commonly measured by slotted line is SWR. This serves a measure of accuracy of the dependent mesh to the under test. This is especially important for transmitting antennas and their feeding lines. High standing wave ratios on radio or TV antennas can distort the signal, increase the transmission line loss, and potentially damage components in the transmission path, possibly even the transmitter. Okay. Slotted lines are no longer widely used but can still be found in budget applications. Their main drawback is that they are labor intensive and to use and require calculation, table or plotting to make use of the result. Okay, they need to be made with mechanical precision and the probe and its detector need to be adjusted with care, but they can give very accurate result. Okay, that's all. Okay, thank you.
Okay, now we are going to see the manual impedance tuners. Manual tuners or manual slide screw tuners rely on the operator's hand to vary the position of the probe in both horizontal and vertical positions. Typical specification of manual tuners range from 400 MHz to 50 GHz with power levels between 10 watt CW or 100 watt peak and 250 watt CW or 2500 watt, and typical maximum VSWR values ranging between 10:1 and 35:1. On low frequency, tuners and LCD readout ensures accurate and repeatable carriage placement over long distance. Various high frequency tuners use a micrometer carriage drive for probe positioning. Vertical positions are always set via precision micrometer. Next, automated impedance tuners. Like manual impedance tuners, automated impedance tuner operator on slide screw technology with the addition of automated motor control. Common computer interface include USB and TCP or IP. In the case of TCP or IP control, automated tuners can be controlled directly via an onboard microprocessor using ASCII command and telnet session. Next, multi-harmonic impedance tuners. Okay, this is a subset automated impedance tuners which contain multiple and independent tuner probes. Each probe wideband in nature and when lowered into the slab line creates an reflection at the fundamental frequency. It's possible to find unique physical positions for both probes which present the identical fundamental impedance but varying the second harmonic impedance. Okay, this is sensor tuners. Sensor tuners are subset an automated impedance tuner which contain an integrated low loss coupler seated between the probe and the connector. Placing a coupler between the tuning element and DUT allows for the direct reading of forward and reverse powers at the DUT reference plane, enabling a style of load pool referred to as a vector receiver or real-time load pool. Okay, this is uses of tuners. Impeded tuners can be used to determine the ideal matching impedance for power gain, efficiency, noise figure or other parameters in amplifier design. They can be used to build models talking not 50 ohms measurements and incorporating them into a compact database or behavior model. They can be used to validate models, comparing simulated performance results against actual measured data. They can be used to test the performance of a match DUT as a function of mismatch, measuring the drop in performance as the match is tuned away from 50 ohm. It can be used to test finished systems such as mobile phones, radios, and transceivers on simple tools or versatility. Thank you.
Good evening. Our title in microwave devices is tuner. Definition of tuner. It's used for impedance matching in the transmission lines. A tuning screw attached with the micrometer along with the carriage helps in the impedance matching. Mismatches up to 21 can be tuned to a VSWR of a less than 1.02 at any frequency in the waveguide band. Next is, what are the types in tuner? Impedance tuner are used to present user-defined loads, terminators, matches to a device under test. Tuners are defined by several characters. Frequency range. The range over which is the tuner can present control the impedances. Matching range. The maximum VSWR achievable, normally stated in the tuner reference plane, can also be specified as maximum gamma or minimum impedance. Power handling. The maximum rated powers in CW and peak operating environments under which the tuner will operate without possible failure. Repeatability, mainly determined by the tuner's mechanical design. The S11 or S21 error in dB of a tuner returning to a same position over time. Connector type. The connector will be 7 mm or 3.5 mm or 2.4 mm or waveguide used on the tuner. Types of tuner. The first type is mechanical slide screw tuner. A mechanical slide screw tuner consists of a 50 ohm slab line and a capacitivity and reflective probe referred to as a slug. Ideally, when the slug is fully retracted, the tuner presents a 50 ohm impedance. As the tuner presents a 50 ohm impedance, the slug is lowered into the slab line y direction. It interrupts the electric field and creates a capacitance therapy, increasing the magnitude of reflection. As the slug travels along the slab line x direction, the phase of the reflection is rotated. It is therefore possible to recreate any and all impedances without the needs of discrete components, lumped elements, or transmission lines.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama kepada Puan Laila binti Yaakob. Nama saya Nur Hazika binti Abdullah. Nombor matrik saya 15 DEP5A F1011. Hari ini saya membentangkan general skill pertama. Tajuk yang saya diberikan adalah method termination. Method termination ni adalah designed and manufactured for use to terminate the waveguide termination operation at low average power, and it also in measure of reflection coefficient. Terminate ni juga digunakan dalam crossing lines, strip lines, waveguide untuk observe the incident power without applicable reflection and radiation. Termination is a one-part device which offset all the incident power, never radiation and reflects. Its only purpose to observe all incident energy without standing wave. The card must be long enough to observe all the power. Maksudnya, card dia mesti panjang untuk masuk dalam method termination. The front end of the card is tapered. Card di ujung ni mesti ada tapered. And dia juga ada two types. Pertama adalah matched load, variable short circuit. Basic character dia ada 3: VSWR, frequency range, and power handling capability. Itu saja daripada saya. Sekian, terima kasih.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Nur Hidayah binti Effendi dari kelas DEP5A. Nombor kad matrik 15 DEP 1F 1039. Hari ini saya akan membentangkan tentang wave meter ataupun frekuensi meter. Wave meter atau frekuensi meter ialah untuk mengukur frekuensi microwave signal. Perbezaan antara cavity wave meter ialah frekuensi boleh dibaca direct ataupun tak. Wave meter type B iaitu yang ni boleh dibaca direct frekuensinya, manakala type A perlu menggunakan calibrate frequency chart. Ini ialah frekuensi wave meter real view dengan internal view. Ini ialah screw micrometer yang untuk ukur ni. Lepas tu resonant waveguide cupping hole. Ini ialah block diagram of frequency measurement. Microwave source, isolator, alternator, wave meter, slotted line ke diode detector, meter amplifier. Slotted line ni terus ke termination. Okey. Itu saja. Terima kasih.
Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Nama saya Luqman Arif bin Kamar Zaman. Nama matrik saya 15 DEP5A 1013. Saya daripada kelas DEP5A. Saya ingin membuat pembentangan mengenai gun source power supply. The gun source power supply delivers the DC and control voltage required for the operation of the gun oscillator and pin modulator. It enables the demodulated microwave signal to be quantitatively evaluated. The gun diode is a unique component. Even though it is called a diode, it does not contain a PN diode junction. The gun diode or transfer electron device can be termed a diode because it has two electrodes.
Assalamualaikum. Okey. Nama saya Sunizam Mikhail Anwar. Nombor matrik saya 15 DEP 18 F1005. Okey. Hari ini saya ingin membuat diagram skis 1. Saya akan menerangkan application komponen microwave. Okey, komponen saya ialah oscillator. Okey, apa itu oscillator? Okay, an oscillator is a two-port device that transmit microwave or radio frequency power in one direction only. Due to internal behavior, that propagation in one direction is allowed while the other direction is blocked. The non-reciprocity observed in this device usually comes from the interaction between the propagating wave and the material, which can be different with respect to the direction of propagation. It is used to shield equipment on its input side from the effects of conditions on its output side. For example, to prevent a microwave source being determined by a mismatch load. Ada two types of oscillator. Oscillator yang pertama ialah Faraday rotation oscillator dan second resonant observation. Apa itu Faraday rotation oscillator? A last physical principle useful to design oscillator is the Faraday rotation. When linearly polarized wave propagate through Farads having a mediation aligned with the direction of propagation of the wave. The polarization plane will rotate along the propagation axis. This rotation may be used to create microwave device oscillator, generator. Actually, in regulator with guide topology is also required. The implementation of cellular with guide section which come out of device plane. Okay, second, resonant observation. In these types, the first observe energy from the microwave signal traveling in one direction. A stable rotating magnetic field is found in the domain mode of rectangular waveguide. Okay, the rotation field exists away from the center line of the broad wall over the full higher of the guide. However, to allow the heat from the absorbed power to be conducted away, the fibers do not usually extend from a broad wall to other. B is limited to a shallow strip on each face from a given a fairly narrow frequency band, but since its practice the bias field is not perfectly uniform throughout the fibers. The oscillator function over a small wide width band. Okay, yang dua ni ialah gambar oscillator yang saya dapat. Okay, yang second, yang bawah tu ialah simbol oscillator. Okay, sekian, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.